If you're looking for an awesome product at a great price, be sure to check out the link in the description. Eswatini's landscape, a small nation nestled between South Africa and Mozambique, is currently the stage for a simmering international controversy. The recent deportation of 5 men, from Vietnam, Jamaica, Laos, Yemen, and Cuba, by the United States to this absolute monarchy has ignited a firestorm of protest. The U.S., having received Supreme Court approval last month to utilize third countries for deportation purposes, swiftly acted, transporting these individuals to Eswatini last week. The move, however, has been met with fierce condemnation, with Eswatini's largest opposition party, the People's United Democratic Movement, PUDEMO, branding the action human trafficking disguised as a deportation deal. This characterization reflects the deep-seated concerns echoing across the nation. Civil society groups and opposition parties alike are voicing outrage, questioning the legality, transparency, and safety implications of this unilateral action. A coalition of 7 women's groups issued a strongly worded statement, highlighting the lack of public consultation, adequate preparation, and community engagement surrounding the deportations. Their concerns extend beyond the 5 deportees themselves, expressing anxieties about the potential impact on the safety and well-being of Eswatini's own citizens, particularly women and girls. A petition was delivered to the U.S. Embassy, demanding the repatriation of the deportees, the upholding of their human rights, and a staunch rejection of Eswatini becoming a dumping ground for unresolved international issues. A subsequent protest outside the U.S. Embassy underscored the intensity of these sentiments, with demonstrators chanting slogans like "Whose taxpayers, Eswatini is not a prison for U.S. rejects," and "Take the 5 criminals back to the U.S." The Eswatini government, however, maintains a different perspective. Spokesperson Nabil Mbluli stated that the 5 men are expected to be held for approximately 12 months, although the exact duration remains flexible. She further indicated Eswatini's openness to accepting more deportees, contingent upon available resources and ongoing negotiations with the U.S. This willingness, coupled with the government's assertion that the men are safely incarcerated and being treated according to standard prison regulations, contrasts sharply with the accusations leveled by the opposition. Prime Minister Russell Dlamini reinforced this position, emphasizing the country's capacity to manage these prisoners, highlighting the presence of inmates convicted of even more serious crimes within its prison system. A prison service spokesperson, Bafalili Kunina, echoed these assurances, emphasizing the lack of preferential treatment for the deportees. These statements, however, fall short of addressing the core concerns regarding the lack of transparency surrounding the agreement itself and the broader ethical implications of the deportation process. The U.S. government's justification for these actions centers on the severity of the crimes committed by the deportees. Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, from the Department of Homeland Security, described the individuals as having been convicted of heinous crimes, including child rape, murder, and burglary, asserting that their home countries had refused to accept their repatriation. McLaughlin's statement, posted on X, characterized these individuals as depraved monsters who had terrorized American communities. However, this characterization, presented without detailed evidence, has been met with skepticism by many. Adding further complexity to this narrative is the stark contrast between the government's pronouncements and the reality on the ground. The Coordinating Assembly of NGOs has expressed profound alarm over the situation, specifically criticizing the dehumanizing language used by U.S. officials and demanding the immediate suspension of the Eswatini-U.S. agreement pending comprehensive public consultation and transparent national dialogue. The U.S. State Department's own 2023 Human Rights Report on Eswatini paints a concerning picture, citing credible reports of arbitrary or unlawful killings, torture, problems with judicial independence, and the existence of political prisoners. This report, in conjunction with the ongoing political tensions within Eswatini, including the alleged poisoning of PUDEMO leader Mlungisi Makanya in South Africa, an event the party describes as an assassination attempt, which the government denies, highlights a backdrop of complex political and social challenges within the country. The silence surrounding the specifics of the agreement between the U.S. and Eswatini remains a significant point of contention. The lack of transparency and the government's steadfast refusal to divulge the terms raise serious concerns regarding accountability and the potential violation of international human rights norms. The ongoing protests, petitions, and public statements from civil society organizations and opposition parties underscore the profound unease and distrust surrounding this deportation deal, raising fundamental questions about the balance of power, international cooperation, and the protection of human rights in a nation grappling with its own internal political dynamics and now embroiled in an increasingly contentious international dispute. The situation in Eswatini remains highly volatile, awaiting further developments and clarifications that could potentially alter the course of this rapidly evolving international crisis. The international community watches closely, awaiting further information and resolution to this complex and sensitive issue.